Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to Anime King 3, and today I'm going to be giving you part 5 of What If Naruto was the original vampire hybrid. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto lost everything and traveled to the DC universe, and enjoy that guys. And also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the other channels if you're new and need a four of them guys. Anime King, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, and Anime Prince, which I post what fun every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and smash that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. And yeah, without further ado, what needs to be jump right into this new episode. Begin now guys. So the last spot we left off, the group was on their mission to deliver the item towards the land of grass. However, they ran into a bit of a problem as it was Naruto. Naruto was on watch duty. The problem was there was a few vampires that were around these areas. One of them decided to attack as Naruto quickly woke up Anko and the others as they quickly got to work. The vampire came in as it was four of them. However, just as Anko said, they were fast, they were strong, but ninjas were faster and stronger as well when they truly got to work. But the battle was intense though. The problem was these four were weak, as Naruto and Ami dealt with them rather easily. Ami also showed off that she was no normal person, as she used her hand to cause the vampire extreme pain in his head, showing that she had some kind of mystical power. As the real boss then showed himself, he said that he was around 100 plus years old. As he told them that they could take the spot of all of his recruits that he just killed. Mito told him to go and screw himself as he jumped in. He went after her, but Naruto knocked him away, as Naruto told him that if he touched her he will kill him. The guy simply laughed as both Naruto and Anko rushed in. A fearsome battle then commenced. The vampire was strong and powerful, but he came upon this group with no idea how powerful they were. The combined effort of Naruto and Anko, they were able to strip him down and slam him into the tree as Naruto proceeded to wrap the chain around his neck and hold him there as they delivered the final strike, ending his life as they came out on top. We then have a little skip towards a location where several vampire heads were gathered. The one that was leading this gathering was none other than Marcel. Marcel had Aya, Lucian, and Tristan, as these guys were the head of their own vampire groups, the largest that is. Not to say that there weren't other groups out there, but they were small in comparison. Marcel wanted them to make a move, as it was finally time that they show that they were the top of the food chain. For the longest time now, they were unable to try and conquer Shinobi kind, as it seems that Klaus was a main factor for them not moving further, as he seemed to have a rule about them taking over completely. Yes, they were allowed to snack on humans and do as they please, but trying to conquer Shinobi kind was something that they were not allowed to do in the slightest. And because of the fear that they had for that man, because of the trepidation of them all dying, no one broke that rule. But now Marcel wanted to change that rule. Klaus was dead, he has been for the past 13 years. That is what Marcel believed. So he wanted all of them to pull their forces together, and with that they will be unstoppable. However, Aya was against it, saying that there was the others. It turns out that there was a group that Klaus had turned first. The older generations. The first turn. So she wasn't so sure that they would be able to get away with this. However, Marcel had good authority that None of them care what was going on. If they did, they would have jumped in or said something by now. As they asked about Catherine, she was one of his loyal followers. Hearing that, they knew that, well, she was not going to join in as well because of her non-interest in any of this. As Marcel asked all of them to join him, they all looked toward each other as they made up their mind. Meanwhile, as Naruto and his group, all of them had went on several different missions aside from that one. They had done plenty over the past 2 months that went by. As they got a mission from the Hokage to help out Kakashi and his team that was at the Land of Wave. It was their job to go there and help them out. So they proceeded to make their way there. It did not take them too long to arrive, but something was wrong. As Naruto felt the ominous feeling around the area as they got into the location, something was definitely off. As it did not feel right in the slightest. The place was extremely empty when they entered the town, not even a single soul. However, they were able to find the location because of someone showing themselves. They asked if they were the reconnaissance group from Konoha, as they told them yes. However, this was not right in the slightest as they were led to an underground passageway from the Land of Wave to another island. Arriving there, they saw Kakashi as he was patched up already though. As Zabuza and Haku was there as well. Sasuke was okay, including Sakura. However, Kakashi was confused to see them here. He expected the Hokage to send a bigger group. He proceeded to summon Pakon. It turns out that Pakon's mind was diluted by a vampire. Naruto now understood why he felt so weird coming here. They were being watched by vampires. It turns out that, well, Gato and his group was given an opportunity to become higher on the food chain, and that being turned. As Zabuza and Kakashi and all of them were betrayed. And they were forced to fight several dozen vampires that were now being used by the person that was running things. That was not Gato. This guy was extremely powerful. They barely got away though, but they were able to get away. It seems like Pakon was captured before he could make it to Konoha. Knowing that Konoha forces would come here, it would be too bad for their new leader, so he seemed to have altered Pakon's mind for them to send a small reinforcements so that he could kill them all before completely subjugating the Land of Wave. And if that was possibly done, there would be no way that they could save the land. As they were now stuck in a trap, if they tried to leave, they would be attacked the moment they stepped outside. As most of them didn't have rings, so they would have to wait until night, but the forest was filled with shades. However, with them being here, they had a better fighting chance, as Naruto asked Anko how crazy it would be for them to fight off these guys. As Anko said that it would be definitely on the top 10 list of completely gone insane. However, she was kind of insane as Mito was with it as well. And not to mention they had an ice user. Sasuke was here as well along with Sakura. And with Ami and Sakura helping Kakashi, his wounds were bandaged up. Unfortunately, Tazuna died, just like several of the other members of the village until they were placed here. Naruto and Mito also learned something about their heritage. It turns out that this was the island of the Uzumaki, not the main island, because the Land of Whirlpool had several islands intertwined in the gigantic spiral. But this is one of them. But they didn't have time to dwell on that because they were going to war with dozens, hundreds of vampires, and they had to be ready. However, the woman now known as Dahlia, as she was said to be a powerful witch, was currently using the vampire essence to empower her, as she seemed to have locked onto some strange sort of unworldly power, which she was trying to reach. Her main goal was to find out what happened to Klaus. So yeah guys, basically let's left off, you guys can switch across the playthrough of yourself. So as we begin this new episode guys, his name was Leandro. Leandro was 200 plus years old. He was turned a very long time ago. However, in comparison to people like Marcel, Lucien, he was nothing. Low of the low. To them, he was like a newborn, given how old they were. Leandro did not have that much influence or say. He was just someone that was powerful than most young vampires, but not enough influence to back himself up. However, the world was changing. Leandro saw it. Marcel and the others, they were gathering forces. They were grouping up together. And he didn't want to be sidetracked. He wanted to be at the top as well. However, in order to be at the top, he needed forces, power. He needed so much that he could rule over domains without fearing no one. Leandro first moved us to gather forces in the shadow, turning people as he gained their loyalty by telling them if they prove themselves to him, he will grant them a ring to walk in the daylight just like he could. For 2 years he had worked for Gato, as he had watched Gato and help him acquire an extremely large powerful forces of bandits, as he had helped him gather this force. So when the time was ready, Leandro made his move, and he knew that this was a perfect moment. He killed Gato right after the whole thing with the ninjas on the bridge. Yes, he killed Gato. He then proceeded to do what he did best and turn and gain an army of young vampires, doing the same thing like he did with his other army. After he preached to them, they had no expression to say no to him. Immortality, strength, speed that they couldn't even dream of. They were nothing but low-level bandits. They would be immortal, untouchable. They would be a part of something big that would change the very fabric of this world. They did not hesitate to accept. So once he had them now, he was going to take over the Land of Wave. The first thing that was done was to kill that bridge builder. He was one of the main problem. There will be no bridge to the Land of Wave. This place will be his base of operation. Knowing that the Konoha ninjas were pinned down, he decided to wait. That is when he came across a small pup. He then proceeded to compel him, erasing anything else. The pup went back to Konoha with a letter that Leandro had wrote to the Hokage to send a small force here. Once the Hidden Leaf Village and the others knew that Land of Wave was now occupied by nothing but vampire, they would not dare to intervene, knowing that vampires are ruthless and also harder to kill than most because of their regeneration ability. Yes, they could be taken over at stake, but you will have to get close to do so. And Leandro was going to cause a lot of chaos amongst the ocean border to make sure everyone knew their place and not to interfere. However, tonight was the night that all of that changed as he stood at the premises of the village. Hundreds of his followers started to flash behind him with immense speed, all of them gathering. Tonight, he said, raising his hand, is the night that we conquer this land. Get yourself ready. Tonight we feast. Everyone else was gathering their forces and making their move. It was time that he did the same. He was not going to be left in the wind. As Leandro and his followers started to move through the city, the place was deserted and empty, but he knew. He knew that Konoha ninjas knew that they were coming. He came to a stop when he saw a gigantic wall of ice rose up in the far distance. As he chuckled to himself, seems like they're gonna fight. The boys behind him laugh. Boys and girls, all bloodthirsty, ready to rip into flesh. Why don't you guys go and show them how bad of an idea that really is? All of them with a grin on their face, their fangs extended, rushed forward as Leandro watched from the back as he saw everything. A few minutes earlier though, as the group of Konoha ninja were gathered, they were the last line of defense to the people. Everyone was still underground, safely tucked away on the island that belonged to the Uzumakis. They will be safe there until the Konoha ninjas finish what they were going to do. Mito released a breath. The night was really cold. Yet, she shouldn't let that bother her, as right now, they were going to be facing an army of vampires. Fighting one or two was something, but an army. Hey, nervous? She glanced towards Sakura. Of course, she said. Aren't you? Sakura held out her hands. They won't stop shaking, she said, as she took a gulp. I mean, I know the world had scary things out there, but I never expected to be going up against something so dangerous so soon. What if... As Mito simply smiled at her. You have nothing to worry about, she said. We are the last line of defense here, and they won't get past. As Sakura looked ahead, as she saw Naruto, and their new friend Haku, Sabusa, Kakashi, and Anko. Aren't you afraid for your brother, she said. I mean, he's up there with them. I won't lie, said Mito. He's a lot stronger than me, and they need him up there. But if anyone get past them, it's up to us to take them down. As Sasuke called out from ahead, "They're coming," he said. As Mito gulped, "Here we go," she said. She brought her hand up. Multi-Shadow Clone Jutsu. Hundreds of clones appeared. As Sakura felt a bit more relief. A few feet ahead of them was none other than Sasuke and Ami. As Ami glanced over towards Sasuke, "You ready for this?" she asked. "Well, I must say," said Sasuke, "I never expect to be fighting something of this quantity so soon. But, of course, I'm ready," he said. "I'm not gonna die here. I have things to do. And something like this is just a waste of time," he said, as he gripped his kunai tightly. As Ami chuckled, "You know, your condescending attitude is a pretty nice feeling right here." "What's that supposed to mean?" said Sasuke. "Well, you acting all cocky, despite the danger that we face. It's making me feel a lot more, well, confident that we're gonna get out of this alive." "I told you already," said Sasuke. "I'm not gonna die here." As he glanced behind him, with Mito Shadow Clone Jutsu, if anyone got past them, she had the effort of taking them down. "Well, let's hope they don't breach the front area," said Ami as she glanced ahead. Meanwhile, up ahead, "This is it," said Anko. She glanced towards Naruto. "Are you sure that you're ready for this?" she asked him. "To keep everyone safe, I'll do whatever it takes," said Naruto. As that brought a grin to Anko's face. "Well then," she said. "Hey, bandage," as she was speaking to Zabuza, as his lower face was bandaged. "I hope you live up to your reputation." As Zabuza simply chuckled, as he just found the whole thing hilarious. This woman was kind of psychotic and weird, but he liked it. "Zabuza-sama, they're coming," Haku said. "Alright," said Kakashi. "Remember, they're powerful and they're a lot, but they're also uncoordinated. And we are prepared. We can do this." "Haku," said Zabuza. "Do it." Haku proceeded to go through hand sign before bringing her arm down. Upon doing that, a gigantic wall of ice formed in front of her, blocking any way in easily. She then went through hand sign once again as several columns of ice formed, causing the Konoha ninjas to jump upwards. "Here they come," said Zabuza with a grin. "Let's light them up." Anko pulled out 2 canisters before she threw them in mid-air. Pulling out 2 kunais, she threw it, as the kunais made contact with the canisters, breaking them. The vampires looked up as something splashed on top of them. "Wait, they smell." "Shit, it's gasoline," one of them said. Kakashi threw both of the kunais with explosive tags. Boom! A violent explosion went off as the fire caught onto the gasoline, causing a wildfire that started to burn many of them in the process. However, a lot of them got away. Kakashi and Anko pulled out several kunais before flashing through hand sign. Once they launched it, the thing multiplied to hundreds. This was just to slow them down. The flames could kill them, but the kunais could not. As Naruto proceeded to go through hand sign, lightning released, he says. He held his hand up to the sky, just like what he did in the exam, but this time 10 times more powerful chakra poured from his hand as it went up, gathering a cloud above them. Violent shockwaves came down, causing nothing but chaotic destruction as lightning fly from the cloud itself and strike. Many of their bodies were blown to pieces, another way of killing them. Decapitation as they were burned and shredded. Over to the side, Mito smiled, as she knew that was Naruto. "None have gotten through yet. It seems like we're holding up pretty good," she said, looking towards Sakura. Sakura allowed a smile to grace her face. Maybe, just maybe they will pull this off, she thought to herself. Back up with Kakashi. As Zabuza smirked towards him, "It seems like your plan worked after all, Hatake," he said. "Something's wrong." They turned towards Naruto. "What are you talking about?" "They're cooking down there," said Zabuza. Naruto jumped off the ice platform and landed. Haku narrowed her gaze as she looked towards the ground. Her eyes widened as Naruto placed his ear on the ground. As Anko's eyes widened as well. "Shit," she said. Over to the other side. "What the hell is that?" said Sakura. As Mito and the clones turned towards her. What are you? Boom! The ground exploded. Several individuals flew out of it. Sakura screamed. As one of them leaped towards her, she was not prepared. However, two of Mito clones came in and slammed themselves right into the vampire, throwing it back. Sakura, the real Mito yelled, "Get a hold of yourself!" Sakura nodded as she jumped back and pulled out two kunais as she launched it right into the leg of one of them, slowing him down before she pulled the stake. She then jumped forward and stabbed it right in his chest. He howled out before he collapsed down to the ground. She proceeded to kick him right into his friend. "That's more like it," said Mito as she flashed right through hand sign. "Wind style," she said. "Gale palm." "Hey guys!" Sakura yelled. "They're over here!" Sasuke turned as he rushed forward, flashing through hand sign. However, the ground beside him cracked open as two of them jumped out. Sasuke turned, his eyes widening. However, Ami held her hand out as the both of them staggered back. Sasuke saw the opportunity, not knowing why they'd stop. He opened his mouth, point blank rage, and burned them to nothingness. Chaos erupted as the ground started to break open. They were coming from underneath the ground. Mito and her clones quickly got to work. However, there was so much of them. Meanwhile, "Oh shit," said Zabuza, as the missing Nin was rather shocked, as Naruto took off with tremendous speed. It seems like he's even faster than Yuhaku. As Zabuza kicked up his speed as he gripped his blade, showing why he was a demon of the mist. A bloodthirsty look came on his face as he arrived. The first swing that he took, he removed two heads. Anko jumped in as her feet embedded in one of their chests, completely crushing everything. Before she jumped and grabbed one of their throats, she used her kunai and slit it right open. Kakashi's hand sparkled with lightning as he shoved it through two chests before he pulled it back out. He turned and did a roundhouse kick, slamming one of them into another. As for Naruto, bodies were dropping as Naruto teared right through the crowd, leaping over. As Naruto arrived and sank his feet into a guy's face, when his head touched the pavement, it burst from the amount of force that Naruto put onto it. Out of the 100 clones that Mito had created, around 10 was left. Mito and Naruto screamed out as he was surrounded. Three of them leaped towards him as Naruto jumped up in the air. As two of the stakes appeared right in his palm as he threw it, slammed it into two of their chests. The final one, Naruto landed right into his hand, ripping into his chest as Naruto tore his heart out. Naruto turned, but before the guy behind him could touch him though, Zabuza sliced him clean down in half. "I got your back, kid," he said. "There's nothing for you to worry about." Another one was completely embedded with senbons before a gigantic ice spike tore right through his skull. As Naruto glanced towards Haku, who gave him a nod, he gave her back a nod before he lifted off, moving as fast as he could when he heard a scream. Naruto's eyes snapped right through the crowd as he tried to locate Mito, not seeing any more of her clones. That voice. As Naruto's eyes started to flicker red as he moved through the crowd. Two of them tried to get in his way, however, he flashed through hand sign. Bringing his hand down, earth spikes came out and ripped through their chests. As Naruto jumped before he slammed its heel on top of their head further, pushing them down in the spike. He left them, moving as fast as he could before. Someone jumped in his path and knocked him away. Naruto flipped on his feet as he was grabbed from behind. He felt two pair of fangs brush up on his neck, but Naruto shoved his hand back and pushed it right into the guy's mouth. Even the vampire was shocked by that. With impressive strength, Naruto tore the guy off him and slammed his head into the wall, cracking his skull. The one in front of him rushed forward as Naruto rushed forward. They slammed into each other, but Naruto threw him away. As Zabuza came in and took off his head in the process, as Naruto kept on moving. As three of them appeared in front of him, Naruto jumped as a gigantic snake came from behind him and devoured all three of them. Naruto landed on top of the snake's head as he used his tail to bat them away as Naruto kept on moving through the crowd, the snake being his guide. Naruto then finally saw her. He jumped in mid-air as he flashed through hand sign. Two clones appeared behind him as they quickly gathered wind chakra in their palm before they pressed their palm in the bottom of Naruto's sandals. They then proceed to shoot him off at immense speed as Naruto brushed over all of their heads before he came to a stop and roll as he got back to his feet, passing over Ami, who used her blade to decapitate two of them. As Naruto arrived to see Sasuke on the ground, As Naruto saw blood under Sasuke, when he saw Mito being held up in the air by her neck, blood dripping down her arm. Ah, the one that was holding on to her was none other than Leandro. A grin was on his face. Let me guess, you're Naruto. The one that she was talking about. The one that was gonna end my life for what I'm doing here. Put her down, said Naruto. Leandro chuckled. Just as cocky as your little sister here. Believing you can tell me what to do. Can't you see you're outmatched, outgunned? The possibility of any of you leaving this place alive is so minuscule, especially now that I have joined the battlefield. You tried to block us entry, so we came underground for you guys. So, how about you do me a favor and kneel? And I'll probably release your sister right here. And I'll spare your friend over there as well. After all you have to do is go back to your leader and tell her that this place is now being controlled by me, Leandro the Great. I said, put her down, said Naruto as he looked up, his eyes showing a red that was so fearsome. Leandro narrowed his eyes as he felt a feeling of dread wash over him. Thunder, lightning started to crackle in the heavens. As Leandro glanced up, he felt his skin start to get brittle, cold. What is this? What are you doing? He said. Put her down, said Naruto. As Leandro narrowed his eyes, feeling a feeling of fear, which shouldn't be possible. Why would he be afraid of a kid? Unless, who are you? No, more precisely, what are you? He said. I said put her down, Naruto yelled. A minuscule of purple aura leaving his body as he released that little yell. However, it get larger and larger. Ami stopped what she was doing as she jumped away. Now we're talking, she said as she felt it. Zabuza glanced up as his blade was currently holding a head at the tip. What the hell is that? Kakashi came to a stop as he ripped his arm out of one of their chests. Anko, with a kunai currently embedded in one of them in the wall, looked up. Haku stopped as she felt it. The air became so cold. Even Haku was having a hard time controlling her shivers, which made no sense. Her body was able to handle a natural cold temperature. But this was no normal cold. All the vampires on the bridge started to feel it. A sense of fear and dread. A feeling of them going to die at any point now. The sky itself seemed to be angry. A loud thunder raged in the heavens. As the ground started to break apart and crack, the buildings around started to tremble with an unnatural force. The sky itself seemed to be howling. Violent winds started to whip through the area. Back with Naruto, a deadly aura started to spin around him. As he stepped forward, Stay where you are, Leandro said, as he brought his hand up to Mito's neck. However, Naruto blinked out of sight. Leandro was shocked as he was thrown, his head bashing into a building with so much force, it broke through it. Naruto caught Mito in his arms. As he checked her over, there was a large gash, a rather bad gash on her shoulder. As Naruto brought his hand up to her arm, a furious growl left his lips, as it seems like smoke, cold smoke was leaving his mouth. He held his hand over her wound. As surprisingly, the blood started to retract back into her hand. Naruto's eyes were flipping into red and back out of it, but as the blood finished sucking back into Mito's wound and it started slowly close, Naruto's eyes became fully red. His eyes became empty. Black veins appeared at the side of his face. Naruto walked over towards Sasuke and picked him up. Sasuke had a large gash in his chest as he was unconscious, just like Mito. As Naruto grabbed Sasuke's chest with his hand, his nails bringing down a little force, the blood was being sucked back into Sasuke as Sasuke groaned. As his wound started to patch itself up. As Naruto placed the both of them down, Leandro appeared behind him, and brought his fist down. Naruto caught it. The ground under his feet exploded from the force, showing that the older vampires were extremely strong. Despite not being able to possess chakra, the older they got, the stronger they were. That is why ninjas had to utilize chakra to face them, otherwise it would be over within seconds. Leandro was shocked, as he couldn't believe it. All the vampires that were fighting had came to a stop, all of them afraid to move. The ear was laced and thick, with a mental command that they could not understand. However, it was telling them to remain where they are, and they could not budge. Some sort of compulsion that gave them this fear. Naruto had lashed out and grabbed onto Leandro's wrists before he yanked him down. The both of them were now face to face as Naruto growled. Before Leandro could open his mouth, though, Naruto's fists made contact with his chin. Teeth, blood, and spit flew as Naruto burst open his mouth. His mouth was nothing but a gaping maw after one punch. Naruto grabbed him by the face before he pushed off the ground with tremendous speed. Leandro was slammed right through a building, crashing through another as he pressed against it. Naruto raised his fist and dropped it into his chest. Leandro howled out in pain as Naruto grabbed his face and threw him. He was sent sailing through the sky before he slammed right through the ice wall, breaking into it. As Naruto turned and started to walk, every single vampire stepped away in absolute fear. What's going on? Haku said. As Zabuza turned his gaze towards Naruto who walked, the purple aura rising darker. Anko wanted to say something, but she felt her entire body freeze up. She couldn't even step close to him. Kakashi was feeling the same. Leandro pulled himself out of the ice. His lower jaw started to heal as he looked at Naruto, fear in his eyes, before he turned tail and ran, running for his life. The fear, it overrode every other instinct in his body. The other vampires started to run as well, as they now felt it. All of them started to scamper away, but Naruto was not done yet. His voice came out, but it was not his voice. It was much darker. You pathetic, low-life worms. To challenge someone like me, to step to the original, to step to your creator, he said. And now you run, like the pathetic cowards you are. However, none of you will be leaving this place alive. Naruto held his hand up. The ear itself seemed to twist, as Kakashi and the others stepped back in absolute shock. What's he doing? Said Haku, unable to understand what is going on. Just who was this person? As Naruto brought his hand up, for a second nothing happened until the gigantic ocean rose. Leandro stopped as the others were forced to stop as well, as a massive tidal wave. It was large, all-encompassing, slammed into the herd, Leandro being a part of them. Naruto held his hand up to the heavens. The skies itself seemed to crack with unholy, ungodly lightning, before he brought his hand down with a fury. Upon bringing his hand down, it made contact with the water. The moment those two touched, a violent discharge surged through the entire place. Bodies were electrocuted and ripped apart as Naruto laughed, a sick twisted grin on his face. Something seemed to be triggering his movements, his actions, as the purple aura seemed to get darker and darker as his power started to grow and grew, but he was not done. He held out his hand. The ear in front of Naruto tore open. Space and time itself seemed to have ripped a fabric of time and space, and out of that was an inferno. It was like hell itself opened up and released a flame that was nothing but short of hellfire. It burned through the landscape. It tore through everything, incinerating everything. Naruto laughed as fangs could be seen jutting from his lip. His blonde hair that was already showing sign of white started to get whiter as well. His red ruby eyes were glistening with a look of pure darkness, black markings lining down his face. Naruto's body was releasing a whipsy dark smoke, filled with nothing but darkness and death. He turned towards the others. They try to speak but no words are coming to their lips. Naruto then reached up and gripped his skull. As flashes crossed his mind, he was standing in an empty field. Chanting could be heard. You think this can stop me? He heard his own voice. You think you can kill me? I cannot die. I'm the original, the creator, the calamity of death and destruction. I'll kill all of you, he said. However, the chanting got louder. Try your best. I'll rip every one of you to pieces. I'll hunt every single one of your future generations and end every single one of your lines. I'll extinguish witches from this world, starting by all of you, he said. As Naruto collapsed down to his knees, screaming out in pain, Anko rushed towards her student. As Naruto howled out, Ami brought her hands together as she started to chant something under her breath. Before she thrust her hand out, unseen to the others, something made contact with Naruto's chest. As he rolled over, strange markings appear over his body for a second before they vanish, as Naruto went quiet and unconscious. Time skip. 3 days passed since then. A lot has happened in the past 3 days. For one, the remaining people were able to retake their home. They were now safe. They were beyond grateful to the Konoha ninjas. The builders, the one that had worked with Kazuna, in honor of his name, they quickly got back to work as they started work on the bridge. With the help of the Konoha ninjas Mito, using their clones, they were quickly able to rebuild the houses that were broken down in the fight. No one except for the Konoha ninjas that were awoken at the time knew what happened. As Naruto had been unconscious for the past 3 days, both Sakura and Ami had checked on him, both of the girls being trained in medical ninjutsu. Physically he was fine, but his body, he just wouldn't wake up. They could not tell when he'd wake up. However, they could find nothing wrong with him. Mito was using her time creating her clones to help out with the rebuilding because she was worried. She had never seen her brother like this before and she was worried. They told her what happened after she passed out, as she was shocked. However, now she was worried that she could not stay in the house, as she couldn't see him just sleeping like that, not knowing when he would wake up. She had to keep herself occupied so she wouldn't drive herself crazy. Sakura and the others were there to reassure her that Naruto was going to be fine. He was a powerful person, and he will be fine. Sakura on the other hand, she saw something but she wondered if she was seeing things. When that guy showed up, he had kicked her straight down the other side of the building. She had passed out. When she came to, she saw a glimpse of Ami, chanting some strange words before she held out her hand. As she saw something strange, she must have been seeing things. When she had woke up, she had saw everything was over. That guy, he was so fast and so strong as well. He was the leader of the whole group. But Naruto and the others had taken him down well. Naruto. Sakura was still baffled to what she heard. As Ami had told them, the others had confirmed it. They were told not to tell the citizens of the Hidden Wave, as she wasn't sure why though. To the Hidden Wave people knowledge, they had worked together and wiped out all of the vampires and survived. Iniri, a boy that used to be a coward, was now a strong, productive young man who was gonna live in honor of his grandfather's name, to make sure that he keep his home safe now that they were finally free, as they finally start to rebuild. Meanwhile, in the house, as Naruto was lying down upstairs, in the main house of Tsunami, as Naruto was asleep, Ami was currently inside watching him. She walked over towards him and sat down. As she brought her hand up and trailed her hand down his cheek, a brilliant smile came on her lips. Soon, it's only a matter of time now before everything returns. And I can't wait, she said. At the moment, Naruto was having a dream. However, it wasn't exactly a dream, more like a memory that was repressed. Father, please, no. It was Naruto. He was around 12 years old. He looked the same way as he did now. Granted a bit shorter, but it was him. However, the man that he was talking to, the clothing that he was wearing was that of old Viking day clothing. The man. He had blonde hair. Blonde hair that was similar to Naruto's. Dark eyes. As he was in his Viking clothing, he was holding Naruto by the hands and dragging him. Please, father, I beg you, I'll do better. As the man proceeded to throw Naruto. As Naruto dropped on the ground hard. As Naruto scrambled up to his feet. I'll do better. I'll do whatever you ask. Enough, boy, he said. Anger written all over his face. You're nothing but a disappointment. Time and time again you've proven to fail me, but you even failed to awaken our family legacy. You failed to awaken what makes us who we are. You are nothing but an abomination. A failure of a son I regret having, he said. You will not bring shame to this family anymore. Leave. No, father, please, said Naruto as he dropped to his knees. I'll try better. I'll work harder, he said. I said leave! You are to not show your face here again. It is only on my mercy that I spare your life instead of ending it right here and now. But if I go out there, the other packs, they will rip me apart. That will be a worthy death. Fight, as you are right now. And you might just remove yourself from my eyes as a disappointment that you've led up until now. Please, father. The man stepped forward and blackhanded Naruto, throwing him far back into the woods. Do not utter that word to me again. You are no son of mine, you disappointment, he said. As the man turned his back and left, show your face here again, and it will be the last you do. With that he left, walking back where he came. The small child stood there as he cried. He wrapped his arm around himself as he cried, holding on to his legs. He stayed there until the night get cold and cold, until he felt like he was about to freeze. That is when he heard them, howling. Fear crept on his face as he got up and ran. He ran with all of his might. He ran as far as he could until he heard the growling. Turning, he saw several gigantic beasts behind him. They were large, at least 3 times his size. Some of them 2 times, some of them just 1 time his size. As some of them towered over him, vicious, bloodthirsty fangs ready to rip into him. These were werewolves. As Naruto turned and ran out of there as fast as he could, but he tripped over a rock. As he ended up falling down a small hill. On his way down though, something bit into his arm. As the thing had came down and grabbed onto him, Naruto cried out in pain. As he howled, crying out and begging for mercy, but the thing tore open his flesh. As blood raced down his arm, Naruto continued to fall until he dropped. The wolf then pounced on him as Naruto got up. One of them sank their fangs into his side, tearing out a huge chunk. Another one bit into his leg. As they play with him like he was a prey. They hunt him, they stalk him as Naruto tried to run. Blood was pouring out of him as he tried to flee. They seemed to enjoy the chase as they allowed him to run. As the main one of the pack seemed to growl at the others, stopping them from attacking, making Naruto run so he could enjoy the chase even more. Once Naruto was a good distance away, he howled, causing the others to start to hunt him. As Naruto was moving through the woods, he felt himself losing so much blood, as he couldn't feel anything anymore. All he felt was a coldness. His life had been nothing but hell up to this point. He was the weakest, and thus he was the prey. He was the one they called the coward, the worthless one. In these times you had to be strong, yet he was nothing. The worthless one that did not deserve a home that he got to live in. Naruto collapsed on the ground. There was no point of him going on. Maybe if his mother was here, she would have done something about this. She would have helped him. But yet he was always doting on her. She was always saving him from their father's wrath. They tried to toughen them up. Naruto sighed as blood. It was too much. He could not feel his legs anymore. It was a surprise that he could go this far. Reaching down, Naruto's hand was soaked in blood. He remembered that symbol his mother was always carving. As he reached up and carved it on the stone in front of him, with his blood. It was like a star, an upside down star with a circle around it. As Naruto heard the growling, the wolves, they found him. That was until his blood started to glow. A bright red light enveloped Naruto's body. What had he done? Meanwhile, how could you, father? He's your son. Why would you do something like this? The same man from earlier that Naruto was calling father snapped his head towards the girl. She had blonde hair. He gave her a rather ominous glare. That boy is no son of mine. He's been a waste of space and a complete failure since his birth. I thought he would be my successor, a champion, but he's been nothing but a stain on my reputation. And I've got rid of that stain. The girl clenched her fist tight. Do not do something that you'll regret. You are still worthy of the family name. He, on the other hand, the girl raced out of the house. Don't you go and try to bring him back here. But she did not listen. Dahlia! Dahlia, he called out to her, as he was able to reach her before she could leave and grab her by the hand. You listen to me, he said. No daughter of mine will be associated with that weak, pathetic disappointment. Now get back in the house, as he threw her. As she ended up hitting the ground, she looked up at him with a glare, so fearsome, so deadly. One day, she would make him pay. She would make him pay in the most horrendous way possible. This girl was Dahlia, the brother of that boy that was tossed into the woods like he was trash. However, as I refer to him as Naruto, at this period of time, which was so long ago, even before the Sage of Six Paths, he had a different name. As Dahlia went inside, she went to his room and curled up where he slept. I'll find you, Niklaus, she said. I promise. I'll do whatever it takes. I'll find you, and I'll keep you safe. Father, no one. I won't let anyone stop me. I promise you, I'll find you, she said. Meanwhile, at the location where the boy was going to get ripped apart by the wolf, all that now remained was bodies. Human bodies. They were torn limb from limb. These were the wolves that were about to rip them apart, but now they reverted back to human form as something attacked them. Something had ripped them out so badly that they were nothing but pieces all over the place. What happened to the child, Niklaus, or Naruto? What happened to them? Naruto snapped his eyes open. As he looked around, he grabbed his head as he felt a throbbing headache already. He started to massage his temples. What the hell was going on, he asked himself as he rubbed his forehead. Naruto felt that intense pain on his chest. He ripped his shirt off, gritting his teeth. Naruto got up and rushed as he burst right into the bathroom. As he found what he was looking for, a mirror. As Naruto saw markings being carved into his chest, confused, as Naruto did not understand what was going on. Letters were being carved into his chest by what? He could not see. As Naruto saw letters being carved until it was done. Naruto tilted his head confused as he saw the strange carving come to a stop. It was just a few words, as they brought him an insignificant headache that trying to trigger some sort of long lost memory or something, because his head was pounding. As Naruto was confused as his chest started to heal up, the marking quickly leaving his skin. However, it said just a few words. You are not done yet. You are not done yet. What is this? What does it mean? Naruto turned as he saw Mito. She dropped whatever she was holding as she rushed forward and threw herself. As Naruto caught her, she hugged him tight as she held on to him, Smiling happily, "You're awake," she said, as Naruto held on to her. Still confused about what is going on or why the markings got in his chest, or if he was seeing things, or if he was going mad, Naruto forgot all about that as he hugged Mito. He hugged her tight as she hugged him back. It did not take long for the others to arrive. As Naruto was finally awake, Naruto had disregarded his shirt, not answering Mito when she asked about it, quickly changing the subject as he found something else to put on. He stepped outside as he was greeted by the others as Naruto saw them. As they all greeted him, happy that he was awake, even Sasuke was kind of worried about him, thinking that something bad happened to him that was irreversible. However, Naruto knew that the older generation, Anko and Kakashi, want to know what happened. He didn't understand himself, he knew exactly what he did. However, he felt so powerful, so untouchable, he felt like a god, like nothing could stand in his way. And he just did what he did. He couldn't explain it. Mito and Sasuke were both unconscious, as well as Sakura. She woke up for the last minutes, but she didn't see fully what happened. So the others just heard what they heard from the others. As Naruto greets Nami, she thanked him and everyone else for helping them. He also greeted Inari, as a group of ninjas there stayed at the village for a good week, helping them out until the bridge was finally built. Once it was, they bid them all farewell. However, this begged the question about Haku and Zabuza, as Kakashi told them to return back to the village with them. They could always use new ninjas in their forces. He was not saying that it was going to be easy for them to join the village. Tsunade was a very, well, powerful, opinionated woman. She stick to her own ideas and own opinions, so they will have to convince her that they were worth letting into her village. However, after a conversation between the two, they agreed to at least give it a try. The world was not a safe place. After the events of what happened, and these Konoha ninja having their back, the main reason why Zabuza went along with it was for Haku as well. As since what happened so many years ago, she never had a place set down and call her home, and he wanted to give that to her. As much as he tried not to show emotions, he truly cared for Haku like his own daughter. So with that, they set off to the Hidden Leaf after saying goodbye to the Land of Wave. And now we find our heroes near to Konoha. Man, we've been at this for 2 months now, and yet we're already taking on high-class deadly missions. Imagine the things we're going to be doing in a few years, said Sakura. Oh, don't worry, kiddo, Uncle said. This was just one of those one-in-a-lifetime things. I doubt this will happen to you guys ever again. Well, unless you and your team are cursed, Kakashi, Uncle said. Now why did you have to go and say something like that? Asked Kiba. Kiba was not there to participate in really much anything, as they had to have someone standing by just in case. Yes, they had to have someone watching the civilians just in case anything went too, well, chaotic. Kiba was given a whole bunch of explosive tags. So, if the front forces and the second forces, that being Mito and Sakura, seeing that they were right behind them, were overrun, Kiba was supposed to use those explosives to shut the cave. Once he detonated that, Kiba would be down there with the other civilians, buying time for Konoha to send reinforcements. So Kiba was not there for the fight, something he was rather upset about, but someone had to stay behind. Despite Sakura and Mito being nervous, they did rock, paper, scissors, Mito idea, and well, Kiba lost. He wasn't a part of any of the action, as it was rather hard for him to believe what happened, that Naruto did all of that. Naruto was powerful and all, but I mean, that was like crazy what Ami said. The group arrived towards the village. The moment Aizumo and Katetsu saw Zabuza, they started to freak out. Zabuza was still a deadly missing in. They were escorted towards the office. After all, Zabuza was a missing nin by the Anvus. Arriving there, she saw Team 6 that she originally sent on the mission returning back okay. And she saw Team 7 as well with Zabuza. When Snedy heard the explanation, well, she was shocked, taken aback. They first went over what they were going to do with Zabuza. He was sent to IT along with Haku, as it would not be that easy to just get in the village. They would have to be evaluated. Zabuza and Haku accepted these terms, so they were sent off to IT. Snedy sat back down as she massaged her temples. So you're telling me that note I got from Pakon was actually a diversion note used by a vampire there that turned the others and took over Gato Shipping Company and turned all of his men to attack you all. Yep, pretty much, Uncle said. We were swarmed and surrounded, hundreds of them. As Snedy couldn't be more grateful, and yet you all came back alive, she said. As all of them nodded. Yeah, but it was really horrible. If it wasn't for Naruto here, said Mito as she slapped him on the shoulder, I wasn't awake for this, but he took them all on, including the leader, and eviscerated him. Isn't that awesome, Mito said. Yeah, awesome, said Snedy, as she gave Naruto a curious look, who seemed to just scratch the back of his head in embarrassment as everyone is looking at him. Too much attention. This mission was a lot and more than what they signed up for. Snedy decided to give these two groups some time off. They should just go home and rest, as Kakashi and Uncle were left behind. She had the both of them sit down. Oh, what's wrong, Lady Hokage? I know you want a debriefing and all, but it seems like something else is on your mind, Uncle said, seeing the look on woman's face. Yes, you're correct about that, Uncle. Something else is on my mind, she said. And what would that be, she asked. It's about Naruto, said Snedy. Yes, I was quite surprised myself, Lady Hokage. The power that he showed, as he just said he has no idea where it came from. But he was right, said Uncle. He was not in a right state of mind when he was fighting. He just said that he did not know where that power came from, said Snedy as she looked towards Uncle. He's been on your team for the past 2 months now. Have you seen anything like this before? Well, whenever his sister's in any danger, he always seemed to gain a boost in strength. Anything that he might need at the moment. But this is not really a bad thing, but I understand why you're worried, Uncle said. I mean, he was like a different person. And the way he spoke. I did not say this back in the meeting, but I heard what he said. He said that he was the original. Whatever that means. Snedy narrowed her eyes. Does this mean something to you? Kakashi asked. See the look on her face. No, I don't think so, she said. She dismissed Kakashi, who nodded and left the room. So what's up? What else do you want from me? Uncle asked. I want you to watch Naruto. Well, I'm kind of already doing that. He is one of my students. One of my more stronger ones, to be exact. That's not what I mean, Uncle. I believe that there's something going on here that we don't know. You mean because of his unusual power? I know that can be worrying and all, but Naruto is a good person. I've watched him over the past 2 months. He would do whatever it takes to protect his sister, and even Ami as well. He goes out of his way to make sure that everyone is safe. I don't think there's anything to worry about. Yes, you may be right, but I want you to keep an eye on him. Any suspicious behavior and any inkling of his power rising up again, I want you to inform me whatever you see. Is that understood? Yes, Hokage-sama, Uncle said. Seeing that Hokage was dead serious, she decided not to make a joke out of this one, and just go along with it. She then proceeded to dismiss Uncle. Snedy sat down in her chair. This was not normal in the slightest, and Naruto claimed that he did not know where this boost in power came from. Maybe he did not know, but someone knew. It has been bothering Snedy for the longest time now. Naruto was unlike any other child that she ever met before. The things that he can do, the way he acted like he was unable to best anyone, and yet, out of the graduation years, he had been holding back the entire time. For the longest time now, Snavy knew that something was up with him. She clearly remembered Kushna saying that she was only pregnant with one kid. It was gonna be a baby girl. She was not the doctor, but Kushna came to her and said that it was gonna be a baby girl. And she said that she wanted her to be the godmother. Yet Jiraiya told her that she was pregnant with 2 children after Kushna was dead, but that was not possible. Her memories could not be playing tricks on her. She remembered her telling her it was only one girl, and she was gonna name her after her own grandmother. Snavy had been happy to hear that Kushna would name her child after her grandmother. Snavy knew that Mito would be happy. After all, Mito had taken care of Kushna like her own, after her clan demise. Protected her, teach her, and everything. So she was happy to hear that. But yet, Naruto was born and she had no idea where Naruto came from. It just made no sense, but Jiraiya told her over and over again that there was 2 children and she was mistaken. But her mind refused to believe all of that. She sighed to herself. Maybe she was the one in the wrong here. Or maybe something was really going on she did not know. However, she would need to have a private conversation with Naruto herself to try to see if he could bring out these new powers that were being shown. However, she had something else to deal with right now. 2 ninjas who want to join the village. She had to make sure that she wasn't bringing anything too problematic in the village, as she got up out of her chair. She told Shizune that she would be out of the office for a while. She made her way. Once she was gone, one of her loyal envoys that were her main protective force arrived in the room, wearing her cat mask. It was Yujiro Uzuki as she pulled off her cat mask, older sister of Ami. There was a bottle and a cup. An empty bottle of sake and a cup that Snavy had been drinking. Yujiro quickly reached up and took the cup, before she pulled out the identical cup and placed it right there. Once she did, she took the cup that Snavy was drinking out of and left hers, before she proceeded to vanish away. Meanwhile, at the land of Wave, a woman with blonde hair, as the strand of blonde hair could be seen out of the cloak that she was wearing. There was a passenger passing by. As he saw her, she was just staring off into the woods. "Hello there, miss, can I help you?" the man asked. The woman turned towards him as she pulled down the hood. She was in her late 20s, it seems. She was extremely beautiful. A beautiful smile spread across her face. "Yes, you can help me," she said. "I need some information." "Oh, where are my manners?" she said. "I am Dahlia," she said with a smile. But guys, if you end subscribe right here. If you want to see the next person do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Remember to share to all of your friends on your social media platform. Don't forget to go ahead and check out the other channels I post a brand new episode over on Anime Making 2 of What If Naruto Joined the DC Universe. And I also post a new movie of What If Naruto was exiled and created a new 7-year swordsman. So go ahead and enjoy that, guys. So yeah, without further ado, wasting more time, what do you say we jump right? What am I saying? Let's get the hell out of here. See you guys soon. Peace, guys.